I saw a headline recently talking about shadow IT and how it was good for careers but not good for business. Link in the description. And it got me thinking about shadow IT because shadow IT's always been there. Started back when I still had hair with people taking floppy disks home in order to be able to work on things at home that they really ought to have been working on at work. It carried on with things like the internet and the rise of AWS. We saw individual developers using AWS accounts because corporate IT couldn't provide them a development environment. And it's progressed onwards. We've seen Dropbox, and most recently we've seen the rise of large language model AIs like ChatGPT. Freely available, anybody can use it. That means that the person using it is probably the product, and so information submitted into ChatGPT gets used to train ChatGPT, and we've seen leakage of corporate data that's occurred through this. And this is why this shadow IT is a risk to business. It's our data and our business processes that are dependent on something that is not a sanctioned IT product. One of the things that I have as a perspective on this is that shadow IT is always going to be here, and it can be a way of identifying how we in IT are failing to service the business that is our whole purpose for existing. If business units feel, or staff in business units feel that they can't achieve what they want using sanctioned IT services and have to turn to unsanctioned services, it probably means we're doing something wrong. Possibly we're not delivering the right services. Possibly we haven't told them that we're delivering a perfect service for their needs. So I definitely have this perspective that shadow IT is not something that should be ignored, swept under the bushes, or treated as a punitive punishment kind of situation where you're punished for using unsanctioned IT. If you punish people for doing something that is enabling them to complete their job, they're likely to simply hide the fact they're using it. They'll hide it better. I like a very open discussion around IT and the use of non-sanctioned IT products, because essentially these tools are a risk to a business about our business processes and our data, and it's a business decision to take that risk or not, or to accept that risk. Now, if we haven't got any idea that these unsanctioned tools are being used, we have no idea what our risk is. But if we have a culture of openness to discussion that we might be using unsanctioned IT tools, they might be a part of a business process that requires them, we can then start managing that risk. And of course, follow that with some education around what the risk is. And if there are sanctioned IT tools that can be used to fulfill the requirement, some education about those as well. Of course, it could expose us to recognizing that there are technologies on the horizon that we should be considering using. And AWS is no longer just a tool that some developer or in some business unit is using. It's often a significant corporate IT environment that is now a sanctioned IT environment. And I saw the same thing with virtualization. My first ESX iHost was a machine I was given to build a management server. So I built a virtualization host and ran the management server in a VM. Widespread adoption of some of these technologies follows. Others, not so much. But it is useful to have that open discussion around what shadow IT business units are using and why they're using them, and have some conversations around those risks. Because managing those risks, choosing to take risks, is not an IT decision, it's a business decision. Risk is a part of business, and it is normal to choose which risks to take. We in IT are really the implementers of the policies and decisions that are being made by business. We will also usually be people informing them of those risks and how they can be managed. I'm Alistair Cook. Stay tuned to the CTO Advisor for more CTO Dose. Also stay tuned to the CTO Advisor website and of course the Futurum Group website as well. I'll see you on the next dose.